IP gets you the access to the recordings, so you can download them, watch them, and there'll be some other additional content there as well. And you can ask about that or learn more about that. You'll see it in the emails, the follow-up emails that will be coming out. So, hey, everybody, welcome. My name is Sean Murphy. For those of you that I have not had the privilege of shaking your hand and getting a hug, let me tell you just a little bit about me and why I might be qualified to share this with you. So for the past 40 years, I've been an international speaker and trainer. I've stood on stages in over 30 countries. My content and language has been translated into over 40 different languages. And in understanding that, I didn't stand on stage because I was a network marketer, although I was in network marketing. And I have built international businesses in my career. I was a vice president of sales, and I was also a paid speaker. So to stand on stages where people pay $40,000, $50,000 for me to come out and speak to their audiences, that's a little bit of a qualification, right? Because people want to pay for the message. The other thing is that I've been in the world of the brain for probably the last 2 decades. And in the last 2 decades, I've made it a commitment to understand neuroencoding. When we have a thought, how it triggers us in our body. I've made it a commitment to understand the brain from Dr. Daniel Amen Institute, right? The Amen Institute. I'm a certified trainer with them. Why? Because everything we're about to do in this process, everything you're about to do after this webinar ends, everything we're about to do from now until forever, and from the start of your moment to now, everything has gone through your brain. So we need to have this brain that is of the highest capacity. We need a fat brain. What they found is people who are overweight, people who are fat on the outside have skinny brains. It's an incredible phenomenon. We need big, fat brains, right? And there's certain ways to do that. There's certain ways to upgrade the hardware. So I've spent a lot of energy and a lot of information on helping people to understand how to upgrade the hardware of their brain. See, we're going to talk today. Today's whole topic in the next 90 minutes is about drifting versus decision. And it's not that you're lazy. It's not that you don't know what you want. It's that we keep drifting away from the actions that cause us to do what we need to do. And that's called drifting. If you've ever listened to Napoleon Hill, I'm a big fan of Napoleon Hill. He's one of my mentors, along with Wallace D. Wattles in Science of Getting Rich. Napoleon Hill talks about this idea of drifting. And especially if you're familiar with the book, I listened to the audio. I love the audio of it. Outwitting the Devil. That is a powerful, where he talks particularly a significant amount of emphasis on drifting. So that being said, I had sent out an email to the insiders. And insiders means you're on my email list. So if you're not on my email list, go to seangmurphy.com and you can get enrolled on my email list. And I had sent out kind of a teaser to people. And you're going to see me with papers in my hand because this is important. I've been doing this for 4 decades. I want to make sure I cover the points. Sometimes I'll forget points. How many times have you spoken to somebody and went, oh, I forgot to say that? So I'm just letting you up front know that I have a tendency to spirally think, and I don't want to spirally think and miss something that was critical for me as I began 4 decades ago. I don't want to miss something that I think is trivial at this point in my life that is absolutely needed. It's the bedrock of helping you get started. So here's some of the questions I asked in the teaser email. This event, it's not to teach you how to dream. It's not to teach you how to set goals, and it's not to teach you how to visualize. It's to teach you one thing, and that's how to decide. So write down in your notebooks, I choose my decision, right? I choose my decisions. Sadhguru, who's a well-known individual in India, one of the top 50 people in a culture, in a community, in a country of 1 billion. He says this: everything is your responsibility. everything is my responsibility. It's my ability to respond. So you get to choose your decisions. You can also say, everything is my responsibility, my ability to respond. Because I'm going to challenge you over the course of the next 90 minutes, over the course of the next 4 or 5 hours, right? The next 5 days of this conversation. The brain craves clarity. It resists decision. Because here's the thing. Incision means to cut in, right? You know that they got to make an incision, right? In surgery. Decision means to cut off. And when you make a decision, what we're going to talk about here in the purpose code, building your DMP, is understanding the power of the decision to cut off who you've been so you can become who you've dreamed of. Does that make sense? So where are you still collecting ideas instead of deciding? Right now, there's ideas you're having right now that if you made the decision right now, today, in this moment, whether you're here live or watching this recording, if you made the decision right now, your life would change before the end of the year. You know that. You know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's about decision. And when you set up your DMP, your purpose, when you unlock your purpose code, AKA your DMP, which stands for definite major purpose, everything will change. I'm going to take the next 5 days and walk you through it. I'm going to walk you through it in such a way that you will have absolute clarity to make a clean and clear decision so you can move yourself into a place you've never been before. So here's a mini practice that, again, this was the teaser email that got sent out. I've been pretending I'm decided about. What have you been pretending you're decided about? Because I'm afraid to choose it. I'll have to become the version of me who can hold it. That's all this is. When we set your DMP in place, when you work on putting your DMP in place, when you work on setting your goal and having that white hot burning desire that Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, when you start to do things in a certain way that Wallace D. Wattles talks about in The Science of Getting Rich, it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing things in a certain way. When you have those things locked in and no one, I mean no one, not even your old version of you, can keep you from it, you will instantly become the person. You will instantly be stepping into the version of you that has all of your dreams. Does that make sense? I really hope this is, again, I've been doing this for 4 decades. I really hope that I can get across to you all of these points of absolute clarity to help you get the secret. You know, in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, it says, no fewer than 100 times has the secret to success been revealed in these pages. We're actually reading it now. We're in the 6th sense, right? Chapter 14, the 13th principle. And it says, when you hear the secret, I'm going to ask you to type in your chat bonus. If you hear a secret, if you hear something that goes, that was a nugget, I want you to type bonus or type nugget in the chat, not for me, because other people may not hear it, because you're going to be typing or putting those words nugget or bonus into the chat, and probably nobody else will, which proves the point of Hill. No fewer than 100 times has the secret to success been revealed in these pages. Your job is to become ready for it. When you hear the nugget, when you hear the dream, when you hear that bonus statement that fires you up a little bit, I really want you to lock it in. And the way you lock it in is you profess it to yourself. Bonus. That was a bonus for you, not for everybody else. See, what will happen is people won't type in bonus going, I don't know if anybody else thought that was important. Imagine what would happen if you started to have conversations with your teams. Many of you need to have sales teams, whether you're in network marketing or traditional business, or many of you deal with customers. Imagine sitting across from your customer and you have your vision, your purpose so clear that you're able to help them unlock bonus moments in their life that they can only find when they spend time with you. Wouldn't that be powerful? That'd be pretty awesome. So my goal today is to help you begin to change the way you look at things, right? This thing we keep calling the grind. Drop a G in the chat if you've ever heard anybody call working hard the grind, right? The grind. And what if the grind, what if the grind was just the shift? What if the grind was just the drift? Does that make sense? What if being in the grind was simply drifting? Do you really want to grind? Do you really want to be in a place where you've got to just absolutely be in angst and anxiety? That's probably not the place to be. What if your busyness was actually your biggest block? How many times have you ever talked to somebody and they said, I'm too busy right now. I got too much going on. And when you look from your eyes, from your perspective, you see they really don't have a lot of the results they want. I'm going to show you how over the course of the next 5 days, you can have a conversation with somebody that when they say, I'm too busy, you can help them, you can open their eyes to their biggest block, which is their busyness. Okay? This is not about being lazy. You're never going to hear me say you're lazy. A lot of times, though, we're told we're lazy. I know I was told by my parents, you're lazy. We had 4 companies at the time. Florida Ceiling Products, Atlantic Machine, Caribbean Mechanical Sealing, and Hydroblasting. They were all independent companies, and I was kind of running all of them. And the reason my mom said I was lazy is because she only hung out at our Florida Ceiling Products company. She didn't see me when I was traveling to the Caribbean, traveling to do other things. She only saw me when I wasn't there. So would it be possible that sometimes people might call us lazy because they don't see us in our dreams, in our goals, in our wishes? Maybe sometimes we say, I am just not doing it. I am not enough. Why am I being so? I got to work harder. I can tell you're using every 24 hours of the day that you have. Question is can we literally do it smarter? Can we do it with passion? Can we do it with desire? So this is about having this appearance of action that's really not producing the results. You can be booked, you can be busy, and you can still be drifting. Today is going to understand how did we get to this point to where we're stuck, to where we're banging our head against the wall, where we're hitting the roadblocks, where we go forward 1 step and a step and a half back. We go forward 3 steps and we step back 2. So we're having this incremental growth over life. We're just not ever hitting it out of the park. I'm going to teach you over the course of the next 5 days how to hit it out of the park. Napoleon Hill said his favorite weapon, the devil's favorite weapon in the book, Outwitting the Devil, the one who drifts is the one who permits himself to be influenced by and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. Epictetus said, this is 2,000-year-old Socratic wisdom. For those of you with desire, put it on a shelf until such time you figure out what's within your circle of influence and what's outside your circle of influence. Once you make that decision and you know what is 100% within your circle of influence, what you can personally influence, what you can personally make decisions on, what you can personally have control over, you will stop drifting. And at that point, and in that moment, go back and pick up your desire. Because from that day on, you will never have another bad day again. So sometimes we don't. I know, listen, the reason I'm teaching this is because this was me. It's still me a little bit, not as much, not as bad, because we didn't even know we were drifting. If you look back and realize all of the energy you use to build someone else's dream, listen, I can help you build your dream. I can help you build your dream. I won't do it at the sacrifice of building mine. I used to. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I used to build it at the sacrifice of, well, I'll help them, then I'll take care of me. I'll do it for them, then I'll do it for me. I'll make sure they're okay, then I'll take care of me. This is drifting, ladies and gentlemen. This is drifting and keeping you from having everything that you want. The challenge is that there's this unwritten code. Here it is. If I don't point out your drifting, you won't point out mine. So therefore, we allow people around us to drift because we don't want to get called out. This is a fundamental, foundational understanding. See, if people are coming to you because they're prospects, they want to join you in your business, they want to use your services, they want to use your talents, your experience, and they don't, why? I'm going to ask you a tough question. Do you believe your services, do you believe your products, do you believe your talents are valuable to the marketplace? Do you believe that if somebody locked arms with you, you could make their days better? If the answer to that is an undeniable yes, then you've got to truly understand that if they say no to you, they are protecting their drifting. And you know why we can't really have an argument with them? Because we don't want them to find out that we're drifting as well. We're not completely decision focused. We're not completely decided on our future. We haven't made a decision to cut off what's not working. Is this sinking in? Is this kind of waking you up a little bit? Is this kind of making you a little bit hotter, right? Are the pits sweating yet? I want this to be something of absolute impact for you. So this version of drifting, how many of the people where you're about to go talk to, maybe yourself when you talk in the mirror, how many of us are sometimes in survival mode? Where we've got to get this done. The end of the month is coming. I need this and I need that. And I've got more money than I've got month, or I've got more month than I've got money. And we wind up that we choose to drift as a survival strategy. Listen, here we are, the 21st of the month. How many of you have all of your bills covered, all of your everything covered and everything? How many of you don't know what to do with the excess income you have? How many of you don't know what to do with the excess time that you have? How many of you don't know what to do with the excess freedom of thinking, of personal time for personal growth? You've got so much extra time. It's the 21st. You've got from now till the end of the month to sharpen your saw. Many of you sitting in that state? Most likely not. Why? Because we've chosen drifting as our survival mechanism. What happens when we get out of survival? Would it be fair to say that if we get out of survival, those around us who are still in survival will become jealous? One of the first things I ask people is that at the end of this 5 days, you're going to give me the most precious thing you have. You're going to give me 7 hours of your time. If you're here every day. If you're in the VIP, it's going to be a little bit longer. You're going to give me 5, 6 hours, 7 hours of your time. Who's going to be jealous when you decide in those next 7 hours, you get confirmation, you get commitment, you are decided, I'm all in. I'm all in on me. You're going to take care of you. You're all in on you, and you're going to keep your promises in 2026. Who's going to be jealous? Who's going to talk you out of it? Who's going to be the first person to say, have you lost your mind? You're going to do what? That, ladies and gentlemen, is what's going to hold you back. It's what's held us back for decades. It's what's held us back for centuries. It's why everyone who's ever been around has been taught poverty. There's only a small percentage of people who are taught wealth. Growing up, they're taught poverty. That's not enough. We can't do that. That's not who we are. We're not those kind of people. We don't have that money right now. Don't be foolish. These are all things that got programmed inside of us. So here's the deeper truth. You didn't pick drifting because you're weak. You picked it because at some point it felt safer than owning your power. You didn't pick to drift. You picked it because it felt safer than owning your power. So owning your power meant being visible, meant being seen, meant being judged, didn't it? See why I have notes? Otherwise, I'll just go off on rambles and spirals. So you learned how to perform productivity, strategy. What does everybody ask you? How did you do that? How did you do that? I want you to write down in your notebook, how equals human. Everybody can ask you how. People ask me how all the time. They ask me how all the time, from CEOs to executives to chief marketing officers to you name it, business owners. They ask me, how do I do this? My question is, why would you want to do it? Whatever it is, I don't even know. We haven't even talked about it. How do I do it? My question is why do you want it? Why are you here today? Why do you want to have your code? Why do you want to have your purpose code? For what reason? I can promise you, and I'm going to urge you, I'm going to beg you, don't show up here for 5-6 hours and then not use it. I don't want to be the reason that you're frustrated because you didn't get what you wanted. If we don't start off with what you want, you are going to drift. You will find 1,000 ways to drift your life. See, the world has applauded you. The world has said, wow, you're so driven. How many of you have had people tell you that? You're so driven, you're so focused. And yet you're the one feeling the burnout. There's more to it. There's another little trick to it. There's another little twist to it. You've accomplished things, you've survived things, you've built things, yet you're tired. Your soul is tired. Because drift will do that to you. It'll let you build something impressive and doesn't let you actually belong, doesn't let it actually belong to you. How many of you know what that feels like? Today we name this feeling, this understanding, we name it drift. Drift is the silent killer of purpose. Drift is the silent killer of purpose. You can be winning on the outside and withering on the inside. You know what I'm talking about? So, because there's no alignment, what happens? There's no fire. People ask me all the time. Hill talks about it in chapter Burning Desire. How do I get a burning desire? I can promise you, you've had burning desires. They were usually called emergencies in your life. The rent was due, somebody got sick, you had to get them to the hospital, somebody was dying and you needed to go see them before they passed. We've all had emergencies. That's the fire. Yet we're so programmed that the only time we're allowed fire is when it's an emergency that is an easily understood story by our audience. Does that make sense? If you work a job 40, 50, 60 hours a week and somebody got sick and you've got to go to the hospital and you've got to take PTO, I'm like, why are they taking a PTO? Well, their wife is in the hospital. Oh, okay. All right. So it makes it easier for them to adjust and to swallow your absence because the story is emotionally charged. Yet if you try to tell the story about I'm going to build my definite major purpose. I'm going to make 2026 my best year ever. I'm going to be serious about taking actions to keep my dreams. Somebody's going to say, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, try that again. How's that been working for you? Right? This is when we go into survival mode so we don't have to be embarrassed by other people and we start drifting. So this idea that drifting, who you've become, isn't evil. It's drifting. You're not wrong. It's just the way you're doing it. You're doing it the way you've always done it. My question is over the course of the next few days, are you willing? Are you willing to do it in a way you've never done it before so that you can have something you've never had before, which is going to require you to think a way you've never thought before? So I want to ask you 3 questions. Do I have your permission to help? Listen, I doubt I'll give you any answers. I may inspire something inside of you. I may trigger something you'll remember. My question is that help? If you come up with some new way, if you come up with something new, if you come up with some new thing and you consider, oh man, that really helped me. Was it me that helped or you that helped you? Either way, I'm okay with it. So my first question is, do I have your permission to activate help in your world? Whether it comes through me, through an idea, through a message, through the Q&A, through whatever. So the second question then is if it's okay for you to receive help in some form or fashion. Second question is, do I have your permission to make you uncomfortable? See, the reason I have you in webinar mode is so that you would probably be sitting here without your camera on anyway. So I don't want to embarrass you, or I don't want to see the micro expressions on your face. When I hit that soft spot in you, I hit that push point in you, that trigger in you that you've been hoping to avoid, yet you wish somebody would turn it on. Turn on your desire, turn on your passion, turn off your addiction to approval. Do I have your permission to make you a little bit uncomfortable? And if you answer yes to that, great. If you answer no, I'm going to encourage you to sign off now. Go back to doing what you were going to do. Take this off your schedule for the next 4 days. Don't spend another minute thinking about this. If you're not going to allow yourself to be uncomfortable, do us both a favor. Please leave now. Have you ever had that person in the audience? Have you ever been in an audience and you saw that person who was a rabble rouser, a troublemaker, somebody who was against it anyways, right? We call them a hater in social media, and I call them confused followers because they're still following you to hate your stuff. I just would rather you not be here, and I'd rather you not have the energy or the frequency. I don't want to bring that out in you. Some people, that's all they live by. So if I can make you a little uncomfortable, you're going to love the third question. Before this event is over, hopefully each day I'll have permission to help, permission to make you a little uncomfortable. And at the end or before the end of each day, I will take you out of that uncomfortable feeling. Fair enough? So I want to talk to the VIPs in the room real quick. Some of you have signed up for VIP. In our next session, in our VIP session, we're going to talk about the drift identity. So some of you may be going, well, what are these different? We talk about that. We're going to talk. I've got 7 hours to give you 40 years worth of content. I'm going to do my best to give you enough actionable information for you to implement immediately. Even right now, hopefully right now, you've gotten value out of this so that you can literally make a decision to change the way you look at things. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the perfectionist, the helper, the thinker, the busy builder. And so, yeah, so that's the intro. So what we're going to cover today, there's 4 areas we're going to cover, right? The first one is identity disruption. So you can write this down. You can put different pages. I don't know how many notes you take per page, but I'm going to give you the 4 areas. Identity disruption, awareness drift is section 2. Section 3 is the cost of indecision. And section 4 is purpose, declaration, entry point. We're going to start with your DMP. Okay. So the first one is recognizing the drift, right? This is the identity conversation. Invisible archetype conversations. They start to hear these reasons why they're stuck. And it's not uncommon when I'm working with people, a lot of times one-on-one, for them to go, wow. And I ask the question, what did you just hear? I heard why I'm stuck. And it's truly what's been going on in your mind. See, as a brain trainer certified by the Amen Institute, as a neuroencoding specialist, as somebody who's on the faculty of the Self-Talk Institute with Dr. Shad Helmstetter, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, if you've ever heard that book, right? This idea of the subconscious mind, that's all this programming is designed to do. That's all the books are designed to do, whether it's The Millionaire Next Door by Steve Harv Eker, or Wallace D. Wattles' Science of Getting Rich, or Hill's Think and Grow Rich, or you name it, right? How to Win Friends and Influence People. All of a book is designed to access your subconscious. It's designed to give you a bridge, a pathway, a door into your own subconscious to change the way you look at things, right? Wayne Dyer said, change the way you look at things so the things you look at change. There's nothing going to be new here today. I got nothing new under the sun. I got nothing new. I'm using the same 26 letters in the alphabet that you use. I got nothing new. What I might have is the syntax, is the order with which you're going to hear it, that it might activate something new. Now, at some point, we're going to take some breaks along here. We're going to take a couple of breaks because the brain can only withstand a certain amount of information being flooded into it, especially when it's of a new neurological activity. We're literally building new brain connections, new synaptic connections called neural networks. The first one that got created is if this is the first time you've ever heard me speak, if this is the first time you've ever saw me, if this is the first time you've ever heard noise coming out of my cake hole, your brain is going, okay, he's a lot like so-and-so. He sounds like so-and-so. He looks like so-and-so. That's a cool shirt. All of this to say that your brain is identifying and trying to put me into a box that you like and associating me with other people that you like. So you may miss some of the content. I get it. I get it. I've been doing this for 4 decades. The question is that, are you willing to hear what's going to help you get better? That's the question. So we just talked about the possibility of something that's been running your life on autopilot called drifting, right? We're getting into session 1, recognizing the drift. Drift isn't a weakness, it's a survival strategy. And let me ask you this. My daddy used to say this. I grew up on a farm. My daddy used to say this. He'd say, this conversation, when we'd be talking about things, he'd said, never corner a coward. They'll kill you on the way out. If you've ever been in an argument with somebody and you were feeling that you weren't confident, that you were feeling attacked, you knew the answer, but you didn't have a way to express it, and so you just got a little mean, or they got a little mean with you. Never corner a coward. They'll kill you on the way out. Same thing happens when we go to set our goals. We corner this person, we corner this coward inside of us who truly wants to dream. See, you have dreams. You're here. The dreamer is here. The wanter is here. The successor is here, listening to this right now. What happens is, soon as this event is over, soon as this community is over today until tomorrow, you're going to say, oh man, if you make it to all the way to the end, and we're supposed to go 90 minutes, I hope I can end in that amount of time. You're going to talk, oh man, I just heard something great. Oh, you went to another meeting, didn't you? You went to another event, didn't you? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that fascinating? And all of a sudden, it just popped your balloon. So I'm going to encourage you, keep it quiet. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to, if you know somebody, some of the people that joined you here in this event today, talk with them. I wouldn't share it outside of your abilities right now and about in your environment right now, because it's going to be a little bit interesting, right? So I want you to write with honesty. I want you to write without a filter. Drift only loses its power when you stop hiding it. I want you to write down, if you believe it's the case, I've been drifting. And I was just told that the chat's been disabled somehow. I'll figure that out for tomorrow so that we can chat back and forth. My apologies. So the question then becomes this: are you willing to see drift for what it is? And are you willing to recognize how much you've been drifting, right? That may work if you're on a racetrack, but we don't get paid to drift. We get paid for decision. So I'm going to ask you in your notes, I'm going to ask you a few questions here, right? This is a working workshop. This isn't just me yapping away, although it seems like it. So here's some prompts for you, and you can write this down. What version of me made the decisions that led to my current results? What decisions have led to my current results? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like? What are some of the decisions that have led to this? Some decisions you've made good, some decisions you've made not so good. Right? What are some of the decisions? What are some of the decisions that you can recall that got you to this point? One of them might be is, do you scroll enough? One of them might be is, do you not follow up enough? If you're doing well, what's the decisions you've made that's doing? Maybe you're getting your body lean. I've chosen clean food. I really want you to be interactive. I want you to take action. See, the writing, for those of you that understand kinesiology, right? The physical, doing the action, doing the kinesiology, the moving of the hand, the visual of the eye, seeing something being created. It is so significantly more powerful than typing. Now, if typing is all you do, great. I'm going to encourage you to also do some writing. So what version of you made the decisions that led to your current result? Was it your ultimate uber successful version, or was it your old story version? Here's the second question. Where in my life have I replaced decision with delay? Where in my life have I replaced decision with delay? Where have you delayed on making a decision? Listen, some of you, maybe it's not asking somebody out. Maybe it's not ending a relationship that's going so hot. Maybe it's not about accepting the way somebody makes you feel, because listen, you can't get mad without your own permission. Let me say that again. No one can make you mad without your permission. No one can make you happy without your permission. You realize you have to give it for both. Where in your life have you replaced decision with delay? Where have you put off things? I want you to write something down. Listen, I can give you a handful of things. I got to put fencing up. I've got to rearrange the fencing here on the ranch. I've been delaying it. Well, it's too hot. Well, now the weather's cool. Am I going to use it's too cool? It's too cold. I can't. So we all do it. It's important to recognize it. Otherwise, it becomes a habitual hedonic pattern. Hedonism, right? If you've ever heard of hedonism, right? Those places where it's very, risque, but that's a term in psychology, hedonistic. You are responsible for your own pleasure. You're responsible for your own success. So where in my life have I replaced decision with delay? Here's number 3. What are 3 situations I've called progress that were actually delay? Oh, this is uncomfortable, Sean. Why are you making me do this? Because one of the most powerful words in the English language, because if you become aware, you can then say, that's a version of me I choose no longer. That's a version of me I choose no longer. Wouldn't that be cool to be able to step into your highest and best calling on a regular basis? So what are 3 situations I've called progress that were actually drift? I've had people when I do this training say, only 3? Well, once you recognize it, see, the brain despises decision. It loves clarity, but it doesn't want you to break habits. And all I'm going to do is keep bumping you up against your habit breaking wall so that you can get through to the other side. What are 3 situations I've called progress that were actually drift? Here's another one. Question 4, prompt number 4. What emotion or fear is my drift protecting me from? What emotion or fear is my drifting protecting me from? Doesn't that make sense? If you ask the question, if these are new questions, you've not asked yourself before, welcome. Welcome home. Welcome to your best version of you. Does that make sense? And the reason I ask you that, okay, so there's questions. Oh, you guys can type in the Q&A. Look at you guys. You're so smart. Yep. I can see you here in the Q&A. Okay, cool. So if you got something there, I'll just have to check them out. If you've got something in the Q&As, you can ask me a question or type something in the Q&As because chat's disabled now. It'll be fixed for tomorrow. So number 4, what emotion or fear is my drift protecting me from? It's the biggest one that I found in 30 years of doing this, working with people one-on-one and in groups and in the mastermind, is addiction to approval. We are so approved to what they think, to what they say, to what they're gonna say, to what they're thinking. And I can promise you, half the time, 90% of the time, they're not even thinking what we think they're thinking. So the biggest fear that we want to avoid, the biggest thing we don't want to challenge is their approval. We are so addicted to their approval, we drift. We stay stuck. We stay in our comfort zone. So that's number 4. Number 5, what part of my identity am I pretending is just how I am when it's actually a defense? Ooh, snap. What part of my identity am I pretending is, that's just who I am. That's just how I am. When it's actually a defense. How many times well, that's just who I am. Really? Really? That's the best answer you got? That's what you're gonna say? From now on, right? Because now we've pointed it out. Now I've maybe made you a little uncomfortable. If you've ever said, well, that's just who I am. That's just how we do it. That's just how I do it. Is that a defense to drift? To keep you from doing it a different way, from changing the way you look at things? Wallace D. Waddle says it's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way. And the last one, for identity awareness, write a release letter to the identity that's been drifting. Thank them and free them. I do this when we have conversations, when I help people with their old story, when I help people with trauma. I've helped people with trauma in 30 different countries, from early childhood abuse to relationship challenges. I'm not a psychologist. I speak human. This is all real world conversation. And you have the way to unlock. You have the way to forgive yourself. Don't necessarily, some of you might need some psychology and some help from trained professionals. I'm not a trained professional. I've been just doing it for 30 years, 40 years, getting powerful results. So write a release letter. This one you can do after hours. You're not probably going to do this now. Write a release letter to the identity that's been drifting. Thank them and free them. Right? Maybe if you live near the ocean, it's probably a lot to write it in the sand. But if you write it on paper, then burn it, free it. Let it go up in smoke. So here's the identity recognition. Here's who you are. Not the those were identity awareness problems. Here's the recognition. Who am I when I decide clearly? Right now, who are you when you decide clearly? Right? Who are you when you decide clearly? who do you believe you'd become if you decided that clearly you're going to be this decision maker, the one who works on your DMP, the one who works with a burning hot desire? Who would you be? Number two, what does it feel like in your body? Right? This is neuroencoding. I'm a trained neuroencoding specialist. Means the thoughts we have in our mind produces feelings in our body. Right? If you're somebody who's afraid of a particular reptile, whether it be spiders or snakes, and just the mention of them goes, ooh, don't say that. Ooh, it gives me the shivers. That's neuroencoding. That's neuroencoding. See, when I talk about your definite major purpose, when I talk about your dreams, when I talk about your $100,000 a year income, your $100,000 a month income, there's a part of your brain that just locks down and shuts off because it's doing its design to survive maintaining who you are. Would it be fair to say that for you to arrive at any of the next big goals that you want, even the small goals, you are going to have to become someone different? And what most people are okay with is incremental growth. That's why their income doesn't necessarily change. It may keep up with the cost of living. Maybe they get a bump every now and then. If they get a real big bump, they'll get a bump backwards to kind of even it out. You'll know what I'm talking about? So then the question is that you're going to have to upgrade. Bob Proctor talks about the thing you want is at this vibration. And you're currently at this vibration. The only thing keeping you from this is elevating your vibration, is elevating your state, is moving into that place. Now, most people say, Sean Aker, the author of The Happiness Factor, said they found, Harvard did a study that people who were happy made money, not people who had money became happy. We think I'll be happy when I get the money. It doesn't happen that way. The money comes when you're happy. It's in vibration with who you become. That's what your definite major purpose does. That's what I teach in the mastermind. The year-long program that I offer is allowing people to stay focused on their highest vibration so that they can have a lot of moments in their life where they say, you won't believe what happened today. Here's another identity. Number 3, if drift is no longer an option, what kind of clarity must I now practice daily? And listen, you can write these down and answer them later. I'm going to encourage you, if you're not going to answer them, there's no reason to be in day 2. I'm just saying, oh my gosh, I've never heard of somebody who wants to throw people out of the, I don't want to throw you out. There's no reason for you to show up again and blame me for not helping you reach your results. These are designed, specifically designed to work on a subconscious level so you can activate and begin to program your reticular activating programming so that you can then start to see the things that your reticular activating system, your RAS, your RAS, can bring into your light and bring into your life. What this program is doing is keeping you from intentional blindness. Listen, every one of you, it doesn't matter if you're listening to this in 2026. Every one of you, everything you want is as close as your skin, as close as your skin. It's one idea away. What's keeping you from the idea? All of the other drifting. Here's the 4th one. So number 3 again was, if drift was no longer an option, what kind of clarity must I now practice daily? Write down a couple ideas, some bullet points. What kind of clarity must you practice daily? And complete this sentence. From this moment on, I will stop blank. What will you stop doing? And begin blank. From this moment on, I will stop blank and I will begin blank. Okay. So Here's some ideas on section 1. Drift dies when truth is spoken. Learn to speak truth to yourself. You've done something today that most will never do. You've stopped performing and started remembering. See, you don't have to become anyone. You simply have to remember the version of you that came to this plane. You're already born, right? Bob Proctor talks about you were born with great, you were born rich. You were born with all of the skills necessary to have everything you want. God's got a sense of humor, but I don't think she's up there saying, could you believe that? Could you believe they're thinking that? They don't have the skill. They don't have a snowball's chance in Haiti of doing that. That ain't the rules, ladies and gentlemen. Those are not the rules. So here's the resistance. You'll want to shrink back into your, here's the psychological challenges. You'll want to shrink back into your old stories. Your nervous system may confuse drift with safety, and you might feel unqualified to lead this new identity. Isn't that something? You may feel unqualified to lead this highest version of you. So here's some awarenesses. Drift is a choice. Clarity begins with naming it, and decision is your way forward. So maybe here's something you write down. I no longer rehearse the old rhythm. I choose decision. I choose direction. I choose purpose. I'll say it again. I no longer rehearse the old rhythm. I no longer rehearse the old rhythm. I choose decision. I choose direction. And I choose purpose. So that's session 1. Part 1. Here's part 2. What happens when you don't decide? The invisible cost of indecision. The invisible cost of indecision. So now you've named drift. So now what I want to do is talk about what it costs to stay drifting. What does it cost you to stay without making decisions? This is the part people want to avoid, because it's one thing to know you're drifting. It's another thing to entirely confront it and confront the decisions that have already taken place and already been taken success from you. See, most people think indecision is neutral. If you've heard that phrase, well, not making a decision is making a decision, right? Well, it's true. Indecision is the most expensive habit you've never tracked. Listen, this is, if you're going through this, you're somebody who's gone through this, you're somebody who's doing the work, somebody who's putting in the effort, you've worked on this. This isn't your first rodeo. My point is this: if you're going to make a decision, you need to understand where you've lost millions of dollars, millions of action steps, and then decide going forward that's not going to be the same. Indecision is the most expensive habit you've never tracked. Every time you delay a decision, you teach your nervous system to mistrust leadership. Put that on a t-shirt. Every time you've avoided a decision, delayed a decision, your nervous system said, well, if we're going to stay here, then we can't trust leadership. That's happening in your nervous system. This is why neuroencoding and autosuggestion and self-talk is so important. You reinforce uncertainty. You reinforce hesitancy. How many of us, if they had a goal, if they had an Olympic event for procrastination, how many of us know some people who might win that? Right? Well, so why do we drift? To avoid responsibility. This is all about drifting. This is setting the stage so that you understand that when you put in your DMP, when you put in your passion, when you say, I'm ready, I'm all in. If you decide that you want to be a part of the mastermind and you say, I'm all in, you know what keeps people from joining masterminds, mine or somebody else's? Drifting. They don't want to do the work. My goal is over the course of the next 5 days to show you how you can do the work, perform it, and begin to see it in action in the next 4 days. So if I don't choose, here's the thing. If I don't choose, I can't be wrong. How many of us have ever heard that expression before? Every moment you delay is a moment you teach your body that being stuck is safer than being seen. That's all this comes down to. It's addiction to approval. If you decide to go after what you want, you will be seen. Your failures will be seen. Your successes will be seen. They won't be believed, but they'll be there. So this is why we're spending an exorbitant amount of time on understanding drifting. You think you're buying time. Hey, listen, I'll get to it next week. Get back to me on that. I gotta check a few more things out. That indecision, you think you're buying yourself time. You are not. You are actually selling your power to the lowest bidder. Napoleon Hill said this clearly in Think and Grow Rich. Definiteness of decision always requires courage. Sometimes very great courage. Definiteness of decision always requires courage. Sometimes very great courage. What he didn't say, but what we now know, is that not deciding requires a slow, emotional death. It's the edge of anxiety that never goes away. That it's the fatigue that shows up when you're not doing anything. It's that guilt loop that kicks in every time you think about your goals. It's the evidence of indecision collecting interest. Einstein said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Well, that's great to have compound interest. Do you know what else has compound interest? Not making decisions. That constantly builds and builds and builds and builds until we reach a breaking point to where we've got to make some kind of decision. And then when you're under stress and you're under absolute pain and suffering, do you think we always make the best decision when we have our back completely smashed up against the wall? Let me give you the language for what it's costing you. The cost of indecision is lost time, emotional burnout, eroded confidence, missed income, unlived potential, and disappointed legacy. Indecision is usually disguised as, I'm just preying on it. Let me sit with it. I'll need to do more research. I don't want to make the wrong move. Most people don't fear the wrong move. They fear making the right move that will lose and losing the identity they've built their life around. Oh, wow. How many times have you succeeded? And somebody says, wow, aren't you lucky? Oh, how cool is that? Aren't you lucky? Well, la-dee-da, Miss Goody Two-Shoes, Miss Superstar, right? You ever have that happen? How does that make you feel? You're almost embarrassed. How many of you have ever been embarrassed by your success? This is the challenge with drifting. Because once you make a decision, you become responsible for living it. See, where you're currently at, you've made this decision. Whether you're frustrated, aggravated, happy, you're midlife, you're like, oh, I'm not doing so bad. When we have our goals, when we have our conversation, we're like, oh, I got to be doing so much more. Yet when we're attacked with it, when we're confronted with it, we say, well, I'm not doing so bad. Compared to who? Well, compared to other people. I didn't ask you to compare yourself to other people. I asked you to compare you to your potential. You're doing pretty crappy. To your potential, not who you are in life, not where you could be making $1 million a year right now. I bet to your potential, you probably aren't hitting it out of the park. That's kind of that's an easy statement to make, isn't it? Isn't that an easy statement to make about anyone? Billionaires? Don't they want more? Aren't they capable of more? Once you elevate to that level, you can see the next level. That's all I'm asking you to do is, are you willing to undo personally undeveloped from your current story so you can see the next story, and then you can always see what's next. Most people call it their comfort zone. It ain't a comfort zone. It's a pain zone you've become comfortable with. So say it out loud right now. I'm responsible for the life I allow. I'm responsible for the life I allow. Here's the shift. Decision is not a cognitive choice. It's a spiritual contract. What? Decision isn't a cognitive choice. It's a spiritual contract. This is why desire is the first thing taught in Think and Grow Rich. It's when you stop outsourcing your power to somebody else's timeline. I got to do it for them. I got to do it for them. Stop outsourcing your power to somebody else's timeline. It's when you stop confusing preparation with procrastination. So let's go deeper. Reflect now, right? Here's in your notebook. Here's in your journal. What has your indecision already cost you? Now, again, you can answer, put some notes down now. What has your indecision already cost you? Emotionally, financially, spiritually, relationally? Write the question down. What has your indecision already cost you? Take a moment. Take a moment. What has it already cost you? See, here's where we'll avoid conflict. We'll avoid conflict because if I answer this, I'll make my drifting real. I'll make my conversation real that I'm not doing the work I know I should be doing. Does that make sense? What has your indecision already cost you? How much money has it cost you? What does it cost you in your relationships? What does it cost you in your business? What does it cost you spiritually? About this next one. What are you pretending is a process? A process, a strategy. What are you pretending is a strategy that's really just fear? I need to follow up with people. I need to do 10 marketing messages a week. I need to do 10 posts a week. And you do 2, you do 1. What are you pretending is a process or a strategy that's really just fear? What's a couple of things? What's a couple of bullet points you could write down? What does your body say when you feel the moment to decide and avoid it? What does your body say? What's the neuroencoding in your body that says, I'm going to do this, I'm all in, I'm ready, and then you avoid it? What does your body say? Does it go, whew, that could have been disastrous? Everybody would have seen me. What does your body say? That's important. What does your body say? Let that land. Let that settle in. Let that sink in. What does your body say? What does your body say the moment you are going to do it? You're going to do it, and then you avoid it. You stop. What does your body say? This is why most people stall on their DMP. It's not a hard thing to do. Write out your definite major purpose. Write it a couple of. Bob Proctor gave us all the secret. Napoleon Hill's got it in a book. Where'd the book go? Napoleon Hill's got it in a book since 1937. 1937, this has been out. Science of Getting Rich has been out about the same time. The formula is all in here. Why don't more people think and grow rich? Well, because they got to think and grow rich. And what I'm doing is I'm triggering a lot of thinking. How many of you are a little mentally beat up now? We've only got a handful of minutes left. The definite major purpose requires one thing, a definite major decision, a DMD. A DMP, definite major purpose, requires one thing, a definite major decision, that you are about to step into the unknown. You are about to do something you've never done before, to have something you've never had before. You're going to think a way you've never thought before, so you can see things a way you've never seen before, so you can have things you've only dreamed of before. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a perfect storm for confusion, chaos, and disaster. Until, one of Jim Rohn's favorite words, until you get good at it. Bob Proctor said, do the thing, whatever the thing is, until you don't have to do the thing. Most of us won't do the thing. So you don't write a DMP out of comfort. You are not comfortable when you're writing your DMP. You write it as an act of reclaiming. And when you make a decision, you become magnetic. You become magnetic. When you have your DMP in place, when you live from that, when you breathe from that, when you blink from that, when you pee from that, when you eat from that, when you do everything in your, did he just say pee from that? I did. Break up your brain a little bit. When you have your DMP in place, you become magnetic. So people follow decisive energy, right? If there's a group of people and everybody's like, well, what should we do? The leader's not here. What should we do? I hope you're the one that says, out of the way. I'm in charge. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to go do something. We can't all stand here with our finger in our ear. Opportunities, find clarity. Opportunities that are seeking you, find you. The thing you are seeking is seeking you. Find you when you're clear, when you're definite. The universe responds to definiteness. It can't find you if you keep hiding in maybe. You know, as I build my businesses, one of the things when I'm talking to somebody, having an intake conversation, and I hear the word maybe a lot. Well, is that something you want to do? Maybe. I ask, so how long are you going to hide behind the cloak of maybe? Right? Yoda said it best. Do or do not. Right? There is no maybe. There is no try. Maybe and try should be outlawed in the entrepreneur's vocabulary. The universe cannot respond to a signal you keep destroying. Need to put that in a bonus column. The universe cannot respond to a signal you keep destroying. Maybe. I hope so. What does that do to the signal? Doesn't that distort it like ridiculously? You're supposed to be on WIIFM. What's in it for me signal? And then you change it to WIIIIIII. Just maybe you just change it one number. You're at 101, you go to 101, 102. I'm only 1 degree away. I'm only one signal away, one section away. You ain't going to pick up the signal. The universe can't respond to a signal you keep destroying and distorting. So today, we stop broadcasting uncertainty. We stop rehearsing hesitation. We decide. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that next. Let's take a little 3-minute break. Just stretch right where you're sitting, right where you're at. Let me get to my next pages here, but right where you're at, just stretch. Take a big breath. We've covered a lot, right? We've hit a lot of topics. And the reason I want you to understand this is that your brain is expanding dramatically. Your brain is expanding exponentially. Big breath, big stretch, yawn if you need to. Your brain is expanding. It's creating new sets of new neural codes. There's new synaptic connections. And what happens is when new synapses are connected in the brain, we've literally taken the connections between each synaptic nerve ending, and there's about 1,300 connections between each of those in this new learning, because the brain doesn't know whether this is an attack. It doesn't know if it needs to remember it. It knows it's different, and the brain doesn't like different. It likes familiarity. So then it's got to decide, how much of this do I need to remember to protect myself? So it takes those 1,300 connections and turns it into about 2,600 connections. You're literally doubling your brain's capacity to hear this content. That's why you get tired. Your brain consumes 20% of your body's resources. Drink some water. If you got some water right now, drink some water. Take a big breath. Take another big stretch, and we'll get back in. Oh, you ready? Shake it out. Woohoo! Shake it out. So here's part three. Part three. So identity activation through aligned decision. What happens when you do decide? So what happens when you do decide? Now that we've named drift, we've called out the cost of indecision, let's talk about the other side of the equation. What happens when we actually do decide? Not just casually, not just when it's convenient. I'm talking about when you decide with your chest, with your heart, with your nervous system. See, a lot of people make decisions up here. We've got to move it down here. We got to move it into our heart chakra. We got to move it into our heart center. You realize that the heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. The heart picks up on the feeling of another human being in front of you, and are you sad? Your brain didn't pick up sadness. Your heart picked up sadness. And when a child's hungry, are you hungry? Your brain doesn't pick up on hungry. Your heart picks up that they're hungry. Your heart picks up that they're stressed. Your heart picks up that they're happy. Your heart picks up that they're fearful, and then sends a signal to the brain. Here's what most people don't know. A real decision doesn't change your calendar. It rewrites your identity. Oh, snap. See, a lot of times we say, I got to put it on my calendar. People ask me all the time, do you have a calendar? Not really. I have things that remind me of things. I don't have a calendar because I have an identity. Oh, snap. Some of you just thought, what an arrogant SOB. Not really. Not really. When you have your identity, you're not looking to be busy. The things that get on your calendar are because they're an invitation. If you're looking to change your calendar, you are stuck in lack of identity. You are using your power on somebody else's timeline. Oh, I get it. You need to have your calendar full. You need to be, if you're in sales, you need to be booked. You need to have calls going out all the time. You got to have the funnel. I promise you, when you have your identity, the funnel is always full. It's as full as you need it to be. The reason you got to have a full funnel, the reason most people in sales need a full funnel is because their conversion sucks. Oh, no. They go for no. They got all of this no conversation. They wind up with no because you have not said that your identity is paramount. So the person you're talking to is reading your hesitation, is reading your procrastination, is reading your lack of a definite major purpose, is reading that it's okay to be busy because busy, it doesn't really get you much. How many people, if they truly knew how hard you worked, would want to do what you do to have what you have? Your definite major purpose fixes that. Some people, they say they want what we want, they want what we have, but they're not willing to do what we did. We're not even willing to do what we did again. So it's not just when it's convenient. I'm talking about when you decide with your chest and with your nervous system. When you decide, you shift from reaction to creation. In the book Science of Getting Rich, it says we must move from the competitive mind, reaction, to the creative mind, creation. And the shift isn't just mindset, it's biological. You shift from I hope to I build. Right now, shift from I hope it happens, shift to I build it to happen. The moment you make a true aligned decision, your body releases relief chemicals. Did you know that? What does it sound like when your body releases relief chemicals? Oh, it's called a clearing of the vagus nerve. Your breath deepens, your chest opens, your energy stops leaking. Some of you are exhausted because your energy is in a constant leaking state. Why does this happen? Because your nervous system has been craving direction. Your brain loves finality. Your brain loves finality. It's wired for clarity. But when you loop between yes and no, maybe and someday, you burn out your capacity to lead yourself. That's why the real decision, after a real decision, the real decision makes people feel lighter. When I work with people one-on-one, I go, so how's your body feel now? Feels lighter. It's because you made a decision. When I work with people in the mastermind and we go through a spiral conversation where they're spinning and they're getting stuck and we get them out of the spiral, we get them out of the stuckness, you can usually hear it in their body. It's lighter, it's softer, it's ready. We feel more honest, more grounded, more them, more you. And here's what happens. Decision triggers attraction. The law of attraction is true, but the question is what the heck are you attracting? Decision triggers attraction. You become magnetic. People feel the signal energy from you. There's something I teach in the Nest program about your signal, your frequency, your vibration. If anybody's ever walked into a room and they drew your attention and they didn't say a thing, doesn't matter if it's their hair, their clothes, their frequency, their vibe. They're like, ooh, there's something going on over there. And they can walk into a room and make you go, ooh, ah, right? That's vibe. That's the attraction. And when people who aren't aligned, they fall away. The people who aren't aligned with you, who aren't in harmony with your DMP, they fall away. And that's a good thing. Because the version of you that decides is no longer available for the version of them that doubts. Put that on the back of a t-shirt. The one of you, the signal of you that decides causes people to leave because that signal of decision in you is no longer available. The old decision of you, the lack of decision of you, that signal is no longer available for them and they have nothing to hang out with. So here's the psychology check-in. The moment you decide, the old self screams, or maybe it'll whisper, what if you're wrong? What, Sean, what if you're wrong? What if all of this is hooey? Who are they going to think I am? Who do I think I am? Who does he think he is? He can tell me I'm not good enough. I never said that. What if people laugh? What if people laugh? This is your brain trying to protect your outdated contract. It remembers the past version of you, the one who needed indecision to feel safe. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I can't make that decision. That's your survival. That's your safety mechanism. Yet now, through this last 90 minutes, you've grown. You've advanced. You've made a decision. You're still here. This is where the real work begins. This is where the real work, because how many people do you know have gone through this far? How many people do you know have done this kind of work? Most never do it. They think clarity comes first. Yet no, Decision births clarity. Well, I got to get clear on it. On what? What's the decision you want? Well, I don't know. It'll make sense when I see it. Decision creates the space for clarity to land. Decision is the landing space for clarity. So you won't feel fully ready, you won't feel fully qualified, and you won't have a full map. Let me say that again. This is the part that most people pack up, cash out, and they leave the park long before sunset ever happened. They're like, I'm out of here. This is too uncomfortable because I don't feel ready. You won't feel ready. I don't feel qualified to make the $500,000 a year, to make $1 million. Do you realize that's most people's biggest problem? They don't feel qualified. I don't know how to do that. And they're stuck in strategy in that state. I don't feel qualified. I don't have the full map. You got to give me everything. I need everything before I can get started. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. It's okay though, because you're not building from certainty. You're building from purpose. You're not building from certainty. Tony Robbins talks about the 6 human needs. And most people want certainty in their life. Most people want significance in their life. So what are the opposites of that? Uncertainty and love and connection. Significance means I'm important. The opposite of that is I need to be in a state of love to make you feel important, right? Mary Kay, the founder of Mary Kay, used to say, imagine everybody's wearing a pin that says, make me feel special. I can't have make you feel special and be certain about who I am, certain about what I'm about to experience. I can't have significance. If I'm going to be significant, that means you're insignificant. When you set your DMP in place, you are going to want to have significance about it. I'm going to go after my dreams. What's your purpose? To create $1 million, to be the highest ranking official in my network marketing company, to have a doubled business in my traditional business. That's significance. Oh, it's important. There's a part of it that's there. Here's the thing. You're not building from certainty. You're not building from significance. You're building from purpose. And when you decide, here's the thing. This is what's most important. When you decide, you can't get clarity until you have decision. Clarity can't land until you have decision. It can't land until you have decision. And once you have decision, you collapse time. Once you've made a decision, you've collapsed time. You call in relationships, you call in the opportunities, you call in the communities. I ask people in my inner circle, we talk to them. I say, here's 3 questions you should ask at night. The third question is, what talent, skill, or resource do I need to come into my life tomorrow? When you collapse time, when you make a decision, when you step into your definite major purpose, when you make your definite major decision to live from your purpose, you have more people show up in your life than you ever thought possible, who are absolutely attracted and desire and have a key input to absolutely spur forth your goals and your dreams. It sorts out what no longer belongs, and this is where it gets real. A DMP, a definite major purpose, is not a wish. It's not a journal entry. It is a public, internal, energetic contract with a version of you that will build the life you came here for. Let me say this again. It is the public, internal, energetic contract you are building with the version of you that is building the life you came here for. You know that phrase we see on social media, you weren't born to pay bills and work 50 hours a week and go exhausted, be tired. What if you finally set up the contract with you that became a public contract, became an internal contract, became an energetic contract with the version of you that knows how to build what you came here for? That's what your DMP does. That's what we start now. And listen, I know it's scary. I've been there. The moment you start writing, all the fears show up. What if I fail? What if I succeed and still feel empty? What if people don't believe in me? What if people don't like me? Here's the truth. Your DMP isn't a declaration for perfection. It's a declaration for direction. When you're talking to people about your business and they say, how, tell me how, show me how, give me how much can I make? How much can I earn? How big is my team going to be? They're asking for direction. They're actually asking for perfection. They're not asking for direction. Because no matter what direction you give them, it's not their direction. So they're asking you for perfection. And since perfect really doesn't exist, if they're asking for perfection, guess what they also get to decide? You ain't got it. I can't do it. I ain't going to do it. So here's some prompts. The life I'm deciding to build is one that, how would you finish that? Write that down. The life I am deciding to build is one that, the life I'm deciding to build is one that, fill in the blank. The fear I'm releasing in order to build it is, the fear I'm releasing in order to build that is, so number one, the life I'm deciding to build is one that. Number two, the fear I am releasing in order to build it is what? Fill in the blank. The version of me who will no longer run the show is, the version of me who will no longer run the show is, the life I'm deciding to build is one that. Number two, the fear I am releasing in order to build it is. Number three, the version of me who will no longer run the show is. Number four, today I align with the vision of me who, what's the rest of that story? Today I align with the version of me who, so it takes some time. Take some time. Take some time. Answer those questions. They're critical for helping you cement in, establish, to firm up the foundation of understanding how powerful your decision is. Because you're not just choosing your future. You're choosing your identity. And once that happens, everything starts to bend to match it. So that's your new signal. That is your new signal. So if you were to, based on the information we've just covered, those three areas that we've covered, what would it be like? What would it be like? And I'm going to give you some prompts here after this. I said that we'd go for 90 minutes. We'll go for 90 minutes. I'm going to give you some prompts, some things to think about here after this. So for those of you that can hang out a little bit longer, I want you to begin your DMP. What are you now making a decision for? If you were to make your DMP based upon what we currently know, what would be the decision? What would be the big decision you would make? What would be the big decision you would take? My DMP, I now decide to what? What would it be? Would it be that you're going to keep your decisions? What would it be? What would it be the idea of what you want? What's your definite major purpose now? You know, we have 5 pillars, 6th if you include faith. Body, mind, family, society, finances, and faith. Where's your biggest focus in 2026? It's okay if it's body. It's okay if it's family. It's okay if it's society. Most people, when they think about their goals, they're money related. I can promise you this. If it's only money, you'll be out of balance. If it's only body, you'll be out of balance. The question is if you work hard in any particular area, granted, you're going to be affecting and impacting all areas of your life. Where's the one that if you focused on it, it would bring you the greatest return? What's the thing you want 2026? What's that idea? What's that goal? What's that wish? What's that want? Most, because of the society we live in, we need more money. It's okay, right? Bob Proctor said it's okay to be rich. You were born rich. Wallace D. Waddle says it's okay to be rich. It's okay. You should be rich. You have a right to be rich. Why? Because if you could do more, if you had access to more resources, if you had more resources available to you and you could impact the world in a bigger and better way, you have a right to do that. Don't you? If more of you could be shared with more of us, and we would all benefit from being the thing you share, right? You got to promise to do good, to use it for good. Then you have a right to become richer. If you're going to positively impact the world needs more of that positive impact. You have a right to be rich. So what would your opening line of your definite major purpose now sound like? December 2026. I'm so happy and grateful now that what? On or before the 26th, the end of December, before the end of next year. 12 months from now, you could start today. It doesn't have to be this and some extra months, 26 and these extra months, right? October, November, December, November, extra 2 months. Doesn't have to be a 14-month goal, but let's just say it was December 2026. You could work on it. Listen, it's going to take you a couple of days to really iron out your definite major purpose, to get your passion, to get your vision, to get your mission, to get your energy going. What would it be like, though? My definite major purpose, 14 months from now. What do you want financially? What do you want to feel like energetically? What level of accountability do you want to hold yourself to? What dreams do you want to keep? What promises do you want to keep? Maybe you're a grandparent. You want to take the kids on an international trip. I was in a conversation this morning on our morning call. A gentleman was talking to somebody and they made a large investment in his programs because they wanted to, one of the things was they wanted to take their kids to Disney World in Florida. And they live internationally. They're going to have to travel across the pond. And listen, if it's one kid or 10 grandkids, I don't know, but one kid, it's even a lot. But you're taking 2 kids, you need to create some income. That's a vision. That's a passion. They're not hers. It's her grandkids. She wants to leave a legacy. She wants to create a memory. What are the memories you want to create? See, when you start thinking this way, you change the way you look at things. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So that's session 1, understanding drift versus decision. Let me get to my prompts. Where are my prompts? Hang on. VIP, purpose code session, drift archetypes, purpose. Okay, here we go. The purpose prompt. Not here. Here we go. Hang on. The purpose code challenge. Here we go. Day 2, peak 2. No. Hold on. Is that? Okay, day 1. Here we go. Wait a second. Day 1. Anybody have any questions? You can type those in the chats or comments. Okay, so here's some prompts. Here's some prompts. We'll be back again 11 o'clock tomorrow. Same bat channel, same Zoom code, 11 o'clock. And we'll go again to whatever time it is, 11, 12:30, 11 o'clock, 11 to 12. Yeah. So I want you to think about this. And I'll give you some pause. We'll give you some pause. So this is kind of the after the story. And tomorrow we'll have ability to do live Q&A, if that works. So based upon what you've heard today so far, based upon what we've discussed today, in your journal, write this down. I'm no longer available for, answer that. Take some time, answer that. Let me do something here real quick. Actually, we'll do this. I'll get some background music for you. What are you no longer available for? What are you no longer available for? What are you no longer available for? Number 2, the price of staying unclear has been, the price of staying unclear has been what? What's your answer to that? The price of staying unclear has been. Who's not in your life anymore because you made a decision to be unclear? What's not in your life anymore because you've decided to stay unclear? I really want you to go deep on these. Here's the next one. The life I'm deciding to build begins with this sentence. My definite major purpose is to your life begins with this sentence. My definite major purpose is to start writing. Hope that's better. Okay, good. So my life begins with this sentence. My definite major purpose is to. How about this one? The fear I've outgrown, but still perform, is. The fear I've outgrown, but still perform, is. So maybe you've outgrown this idea of speaking publicly or talking to people, yet you still use that as an excuse. The fear of knowing your product or your services, yet think you need to learn more about it. The fear of having to be perfect when you do a presentation, yet still strive for perfection when you're doing it. What's the fear you've outgrown, but still perform? Fear I've outgrown, but still perform, is. What does that look like? Deep writing. Here's the next one. And you can come back to these, add to them, redo them. Let yourself be in a space and a place, right? We've covered a lot in the last 90 plus minutes. Here's the fifth one. I now choose to align with the version of me who. I now choose to align with the version of me who. ... It's a lot on my brain too. I now choose to align with the version of me who believes in myself, commits to my decision, will do the daily focus, the daily activities, keep myself accountable. What is this new version of you aligned to do? Comes up, comes up. You're not writing this for performance. You're writing for liberation. You're not chasing perfect purpose. You're remembering the one that's been on the inside of you all along. Here's the last one for today. If I were to tell the truth, if I were to tell the truth about what I really want, if I were to tell the truth about what I really want, I would say, dot, dot, dot. If I were to tell the truth about what I really want, I would say, in the blank. If I were to tell the truth about what I really want, I would say, you're finding your signal. This is no longer drift, this is design. You are literally writing out, designing who you're becoming. So today you've decided to become unavailable for drift and fully responsible for your direction. Feel that. So say that again. I decide to become unavailable for drift and fully responsible for my direction. Take a big breath. Clear the vagus nerve. Look at what you've written. You've begun the most important conversation you'll ever have with yourself. Congratulations. Congratulations. I hope today brought value. What was the biggest takeaway for you? What's something you learned? And write it down in your notes. What's something you learned? Something you liked? And if you want to email those to me, you can. SeanGMurphyNow@gmail.com. You've taken a huge step today. I appreciate you doing that. We'll be back again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. I look forward to seeing you back here. Watch for emails coming out. There's going to be a little bit, some more content, maybe a copy of a workbook, pages. I think it's most important for you to write them down. So I think there's just some neat things happening. I want to thank you for being a part of this. The recording is up under my live section on my YouTube page. So from there, yeah. We'll see you all tomorrow at day 2 of the Purpose Code Challenge, Understanding Your DMP. I love you tons. And for those of you who are part of my morning call, you're more than welcome to join the morning call. And we'll see you all there. So 6 a.m. we start. You can go to SeanGMurphy.com and find it, and you'll see the morning show. Unlearnme.live, and you'll see all of the different codes, and you'll see it there. So I love you tons. I appreciate you. Thanks everybody for being here. Invite some guests for tomorrow. This is no fee, 5 days of helping you find and have more of what you want, less of what you don't. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling misfit. I'll see you all where? At the next event. Thanks everybody.